So whoever has something, please raise your hand and then unmute, and let's take some questions and answers, like from the beginning of the presentation up to now. You please, guys, don't be shy. There is no such things as stupid questions. The stupid questions are the ones that are not asked. That's the stupid question. So please go ahead. Georges, please go ahead.
Just as an icebreaker, that photo of the potato farmer, was that you, Mohammed, in your younger years?
Yeah, that's the imaginary me. Yes. The funny thing is that I sold potatoes in markets, so it's true. But Georges, do you have questions or something that applies to your business? Any way that you see this not fitting or fitting, or maybe something is not working?
We began e-bikes in 2022, and for the first year we were just trying to sell and lease bicycles. But after nearly 2 years, and towards September, October last year in 23, we finally noticed that this business was not sustainable and we were leaving way too much on the table. So that's when we came up with that delivery service. And a lot of this makes sense, and I wish I knew this sooner. It would have saved me a lot of time and effort. I hope they're paying you very well for this moment.
Thank you. So, that's what I was trying to say, is that this is like hidden in plain sight. Unfortunately, like you, Georges, you discovered it later. But I very much like your example, if I may, to try to recalibrate it. So the question that would have been relevant to ask ourselves was, I have a vehicle. So my commodity is a bike, an electric bike. I have a vehicle. What is the best way to make money by using my vehicle? What are people using my vehicle for? And actually it was delivery. And that's what you discovered after 1 year or 2 years. But this is exactly what I'm trying to share and what you said. We could have discovered it by thought process. But you can. There's another way also that I saw in Kigali, is moto taxi. So I'm selling bikes, but actually people, they use the electric bikes to carry people. So then this is moto taxi. That could be also another service. But it could also be that accessories, Georges. Just I go on Amazon and I notice that they sell bikes, electric bikes, but they also sell the helmets and the gloves and the protection and the jackets. Hey, wait, they sell the whole package of bike, helmet, jacket, gloves, and external battery. Hey, wait, I'm going to sell a package as well like that. Just as an idea, Georges. Let's take next question. I think Naufal raised the hand. Please, Naufal, go ahead and unmute yourself.
Okay, hi. Thank you so much, Mohammed. I think that was super informative, just like our one-on-one session. My question has to do with the Pareto principle and the 20% made of my product. So do you have any tips? So you talked about traceability and freshness, right?
Yes.
And approaching these manufacturers. Do you have any other tips about like approaching manufacturers that may use 20% of my product, especially if the manufacturers are based outside of East Africa?
Yes. So because we had a session together, I know that your clients are more into the industrial side, it's industrial sector. So here, what you have to look at when you have a B2B buyer is you have to look at what we call in French the cahier des charges. Cahier des charges is technical specifications on how I purchase these goods. You have to go and get that document. So what I would do is that I would contact these potential buyers and tell them, what are your standards, protocols, what are your expectations and requirements for X, Y, Z product. They share it with their suppliers. You get that document, you study it, and it will tell you how they want the aluminum. Is it in like pipes of 1 meter? Is it in pages of A4, 1 meter by 1 meter? Is it a sheet? Is it powder? They will tell you everything they want, in which form, which quantities. They even tell you how you should package it so that they get the best out of stacking it on pallets and then stacking the pallets into a container. Because that's how the big industrial people, they calculate. They want to maximize every kilogram, every volume. So they give you these specifications. Go and grab those specifications. The same with services. You want to sell a service to someone, the way they buy this service, they will have specifications. They will not buy a service that, I don't know, for example, they will tell you, your service has to be downloadable. You have to give us a new URL that we can download and re-download every time. Your service should come with a documentation, advanced documentation. So, okay, then I will build the documentation. Your service has to come with customer support after 5 p.m. because as a government entity, we have nobody to do support after 5 p.m. if the system breaks down. So I will not buy any service unless it comes with customer support after 5 p.m. Now I get the requirements from my buyer. Now I will repackage my offer. And now it's a new offer. I hope it makes sense, Naufal.
Yes, thank you so much.
Mohammed, I have another question.
Yes, Jorg.
I have another business, a lighting business, and sorry,
Yes,
my internet is quite spotty. So I have another business. We sell lighting, and when it comes to import, export, Incotrade, is it? Incoterms, yeah. So when it comes to that, I notice a lot of businesses have the same margins. Is this a law of nature? And also sometimes when starting asset-heavy businesses like ours, also the car business, for example, machinery, the margins are quite low, or they seem quite low. How do you get over that hurdle of, getting over 40% or?
Yes, it's a very good question, and that's actually why I prepared the presentation in this way. That's what I noticed with your businesses, guys, most of you. Let's go back to this slide. So, when you see that the margins are tight and competition is high, that means that you have been lazy, my friend. You're not traveling enough, you're not putting enough effort, you're not investing time. That means that you are somewhere between distribution and retail. This is where it is literally war. So many people buying from the same place, same suppliers, and then same clients. You're selling to the same market and you're buying from the same supplier. You're competing with the 20 people who do lighting in Nairobi as well. So that's what I want to share with you. Jorg, if you want to break through this, you cannot just sit and say, margins are too small, suppliers are too hard, customers don't want to pay the money. No, you move, you change your mind, you invest time, you go and discover where is the supplier of my supplier. Yeah, Jorg? Why do you buy these lamps from Nairobi? What are you doing? Why aren't you buying them from Mombasa when they arrive from China? If they come from China? That's the first question, yeah? So now you're going back the chain. You're going up to the wholesaler. You're going to the port of Mombasa. You're going to the importer. And then the question is, if you have the volume, why don't I go and reach out to the Chinese manufacturer? Because I have the volume. Maybe I can get it cheaper. I become the exporter from China because I will travel. I go to a trade fair in China. I will meet those guys so that they don't cheat me. I visit their factory. I spend $1,000, $2,000 on a travel. I do the 8,000 miles that I was showing you. I meet the supplier, I see their factory, I shake their hands, I tell them, I know where you are, you know who I am, I know who you are. I'm gonna buy 1 ton. If it goes well, I will come back and buy 1 container. And now I bring my 1 ton of lamps, I go to Shenzhen export, I do the paperwork, I go to Mombasa airport, I go the import work, I hire a truck, I go to Mombasa, I fit the truck, I bring it to Kigali or Nairobi. I call all the suppliers that I had before a supplier. I tell them, guys, there is a new king in town that has more stock, better, at a better price. I resell to those wholesaler, and I keep my retail shop, and I also retail as my shop. Now, I have traveled, I have invested time and effort to go back to where the product is, and now I can compete, and I can choose where I want to position myself as a business. For example, you can say, okay, Jorg, I don't want to go into retail. I want to give the opportunity to the retailers, even the distribution. Let me be the importer and wholesaler, and let me give to my cousins, to my brothers, to my sisters, the opportunity to retail further. And let me focus on bringing more quantity. Now, I'm going to import 2 containers per month, 3 containers per month. I do bigger deals, and I let the bulk and break. That's why I call it a blessing, York. You see, it's a blessing for everyone. When you go back to the bulk and you get more bulk and then you break more, or you give opportunity to other people to break it down, everybody is going to make money. So that's I think the way forward. And whatever money you have and capacity you have, you can always go up one chain up, one staircase up. You can't tell me that you cannot travel to Mombasa. Do you have a problem of traveling to Mombasa, York?
No, of course not.
No. So going to Mombasa already is going to give you a better margin. Also a better learning. You're going to discover new suppliers, new terms, new prices, new varieties that actually they arrive in Mombasa, but they're not shipped to Nairobi. They're shipped to South Africa, because the high quality number 1 is sent to South Africa. The second quality is sent to Nairobi and then other countries. You discover other things if you go to the seaport. So hope it makes sense.
Mohammed?
Yeah.
Yeah. Another related question. So,
please.
For example, for our lighting business, we ship from China directly, and we make very good margins. If we're able to buy in the thousands MOQ, then we're doing around 20x. Usually we do around 10x from China.
Very good.
But now here in the e-bikes business, and if you could please go to the coffee slide, the one that shows the coffee pricing.
Sure. Coffee slide.
So in the e-bike business, bicycles are quite expensive, and when it comes to bulk purchases, how does a small, now, for example, us in this program, you called us producers, bottom feeders. So how are small producers able to scale, considering capital constraints? And so for example, here the coffee farmer can make the grind himself, the shot, but the cost of making it is the entire coffee farmer's turnover.
Yes, so it's a very good question, but it's also a fake problem, and it's good that you bring it up. This is not a real problem. I'll give you an example. Knowledge is the key. So if you show this to the farmer, and you say let's work together, you as a farmer, you tell him, and you don't go in a radical way. You don't go to the farmer and tell him all your production we should sell it as coffee capsules in Kigali, because he has to pay bills right now. There's a reality. Today I have to pay bills. But what you can do, which is really very hard to deny, is you say, okay, I cannot convert all my inventory into the next level, but surely I can convert 30%. So 70% of my coffee, I sell it as usual, the normal way. So I get cash right now, I pay my bills, I put my kid to school, I pay my rental, I pay my electricity, I cannot escape life expenses. But 30%, I roast it, I wash it myself, or I pay the washing machine, the washing station. I'll give you an example. As a farmer, I have 1 ton of coffee, okay? That's 1,000 kilo. 700 kilo, I sell it. So I get my $300 now. My $300 instead of $350. It's not a big difference. I still have $300. Now that $50 that is missing, okay, no problem. That $50 is 250 kilogram of coffee. That coffee, I asked the washing station, is my friend, he's my cousin. Can you dry for me this 250, please? I'll pay you whatever, $5 for the whole thing, $10, even $50. Now, I bring my 250 kilo to Kigali. I go by bus. That's what we did with my friends. We brought coffee by bus from Gisenyi to Kigali. We loaded the bags in the bus. We go down to Kigali. We bring it to a roasting grinding company. We paid the roasting grinding company for a half day. They roasted all our coffee. Now I have roasted coffee. Now those 250 kilo, my friend, so the 750 kilo brought you $300. The 250 kilo, the quarter, is going to bring you $1,000 net profit. Now you go back to the farmer with $1,000. Now I can guarantee you that the next season he's going to convert 50% of his inventory into ground coffee. You get my point? You have to do cycle by cycle. You do one cycle, you use the profit of that cycle, whatever even if it's a small cycle, go get the profit, come back, convert more, go to the next level, Make money out of your own inventory. Why I'm saying this, guys, is because only you can do this. If I'm the buyer, I cannot do this because I am far away from the commodity. But you guys have a fantastic position. You are the source of the value. When you are the source of the value, the only thing you need is knowledge. Knowledge and mentality. Once you have knowledge and mentality, there is a small step you can do for $10. I can guarantee you, I can go by bus, I think, I can go by bus from Nairobi to Mombasa for $10 if I take the slow bus. Is that a correct assumption? With $10, can I reach Mombasa by bus? So
Yes, you can.
So if you're smoking cigarette or if you're eating in McDonald's, you just save 2 meals or 2 packs of cigarette that pays for your trip to Mombasa. So it's not a capital problem. It's a mentality change and prioritization problem. And really the key for this is how many cycles you can run, just like with your lamps. If you can import 1 container per month, it's a whole different business than 1 container per year. So you go and you accelerate your cycles of that's more important than volume. Selling what you have and coming back and then selling again the inventory you have is much more important for you guys than trying to go big right now. Go small but fast turnaround of the inventory. That's the way to grassroots, to grow organically. Now, if you have an investor that comes and tell you, hey, Jorg, here is $1 million. Okay, that's a different story. Then we can look at a different strategy. Does it make sense a bit, Jorg?
Yes, it does.
Okay, excellent. And please don't be shy to tell me, Mohammed, you're wrong. Mohammed, this doesn't work, or it's a learning process. I'm sharing with you one personal perspective, but you're gonna find your own truth. You're gonna find your own perspective. I think at the end, what really remains is the curiosity of your mind, of saying, I am doing this way. How much I am ready to challenge myself, to change myself, to go and find a better deal for my own self and for my people. That's actually the key, the ultimate key. And what I shared with you is that the only thing that separates you most probably and most often, the only thing that separates you from your best income is time and space. You have to go somewhere further and you have to spend some more time doing something. That's the only thing that separates you from your next added value. That's why I started with that part as a law number 1. I'm happy to take more questions. Nadej and Charles and please chip in if you want to add something, if you want to share something, but I'm happy to take another 5 minutes, even 10 minutes if needed.
Is it possible to share this document with us, because London didn't all attend?
Yes, I will share the presentation, right?
Yes, the presentation.
Yeah, sure. Even more than that, we are converting it into an online course, so they can watch the recording, and then we will add some other materials. Maybe some Google Sheet or Excel templates to help you calculate margins. We will add some stuff. So I will share with you definitely, and also share with you the PDF with all the participants, just maybe in a couple of days. Yeah. But the PDF I can share with you immediately after the call.
All right, thank you. This was an amazing presentation. I enjoyed it. I learned a lot. I hope you guys also did get something from it.
Any questions? Any curiosity to satisfy? Anything to disagree on? Please, don't be shy again. Well, if silence then is the answer, then hopefully we have exchanged a little bit enough for today. But you guys be in touch with Nadej. Maybe there's other opportunities of follow-up. So the course and the material is one thing. But if you guys realize something that is missing that we could have done better in the project, I think Westerwelle and myself, we're open to hear on how we can do better. Jorg, yes, please.
Mohammed, you have been so insightful, so insightful. I hope we are going to get our session as Nadej will arrange. There's this red line here that is a really important thing. So yes. Sometimes scaling internationally is a double-edged sword. Sometimes it builds businesses, sometimes it kills them.
Definitely, yeah. Yes, please. Yeah. Now go ahead, please finish.
Do you have any more material? Or any another course on this red line?
Yeah, actually, I have a whole strategy and framework so to transform you guys into what is called micro multinationals. Have you heard the word micro multinational? Let me write it in the chat. So just Google this, micro multinational. There is a study done by eBay and a law firm. It's thanks to the new technologies. You can be a small business, but you can operate internationally. And I hinted to it earlier. I told you that I can do my own company in America. I can go online, form an American company. As a Kenyan, I own an American company. Do you hear me? Yeah. And I move my goods and my services to America, and I sell them as an American company to American consumers in US dollar with American payment methods. Now that's a whole different ball game, because now I'm no more a small SME from Kenya. I'm a micro multinational. I have the same capacity as Nestle, Coca-Cola, Fanta, Apple, Microsoft. I'm an international company, and I don't need $100,000 to invest. I need $500. That's what it costs to become international. So maybe we can look at that. It's another body of knowledge. It's another 2-3 hours of presentation and documentation, but it's very much doable. And I would say, if you have been able to form a company in Kenya, do the complicated accounting and tax calculations and VAT and income tax and regulations that you have in Kenya, you can do that for an American company. It's like 5 times easier and 5 times cheaper than managing a Kenyan company or a Rwandan company. Rwandan company is even more expensive and more hard to manage because the RRA, the tax authority, is so complicated with EBM machines and all these things. So if you run a Rwandan company or you run a Kenyan company, you can run 10 American company for the same cost. That's what we don't know and would be very good to know.
Hey, Mohammed, another question before we get to the 2-hour mark. Like in our company, as an example, when we're selling our bicycles in Kenya, and the bicycles go for 115,000 Kenya shillings. In Kenya, there's the mentality issue where people equate bicycles to poverty. So when you tell them you're paying 100,000 for a bicycle, everybody goes, for a bicycle, 100,000. So,
yes.
And that's just $750. Our bicycle in EU or in the States goes for anywhere from $2,300 to 2,600 euros. And that's standard. So whenever we have people from EU coming to see our bicycle, they say, are you sure about the price? What do you mean $750? And
yes.
At $750, we're already making a good margin. So should we now, right now we're scratching our heads trying to figure out the Kenyan market, but should we just consider, hey, go to Italy or go to Spain, open a company and start selling there and forget about Kenya?
No, you can do the exercise we did. You can ask ChatGPT or ask Mohammed. What other way? Let me share with you one way. Again, if you study, so I'm familiar with the electric market because myself, I had an electric bike in Kigali for 2 years. And also myself, back in Europe, I would rent cars and try to get as much electric as I can, yeah? So let me show you, tell you how, the French brand Renault, the car manufacturer Renault, they have this electric car called the Twizy, which is a very small, cute car, electric car. So go and study how they do York. They sell the small car at 5,000 euro or 4,000 euro, which is very cheap for a car. And it's like a Smart for two, it's like those 2 people can sit inside, it's fully electric. So you buy the car for, let's say, 4,000 euro, but actually you're not buying the car. You're just buying the body of the car. They don't sell you the battery. The battery is a subscription, again, subscription. So I buy the car at 4,000 euro. I own the body of the car, but I never own the battery. So it's interesting for the client and it's interesting for the company. That means that I sell the car at 4,000 euro and I'm still getting 50 euro per month for the battery. So what happens is that I'm paying 50 euro per month for both battery replacement, battery replenishing. So I can go and then now in 1 year, they get another 5,000 euro from me. That's 10,000 euro. If they had tried to sell me the car at 10,000 euro on day one, I would not have bought it. You see the point, Jorgs? It's the same for your bike. When you're selling your bike, what is the 80% of the value of the bike? It's not the bike, it's the battery. Am I correct? At least 50%.
Yes, correct. The battery is 30 and the motor is 30.
Exactly. So don't sell the battery. Sell the bike, rent the battery. So now sell the bike half price But then make a subscription of, I don't know, $10 a month. And that $10 a month over, I don't know, 1 year or 2 years, it's going to bring you another $200, $300. And that $200, $300 that you reduce on the purchase price removes that complaint from your customers that it's too expensive. They rather pay $300 less upfront and pay $10 per month for a year or 2 years or 3 years, rather than paying upfront $750. Does it make sense? You find the right balance.
Yes, it does.
So again, this is one way of reimagining how other people in Europe are selling electric vehicle and how they're selling different parts of that electric vehicle. So please go ahead and study. Maybe it will not work for you. Maybe it will work for you. I know it works in Europe. This definitely works with the Twizy. Actually, this is one of the reasons why the Twizy sold more than the other electric cars. BMW and the other, they have also electric cars, but no one came up with the market, with the offer that was the lowest entry level. Like nobody can say, I don't have 4,000 euro for a car. Because you can buy a petrol car, you will pay 12,000 euro for a petrol car. So now you have no excuse to buy a car for 4,000 euro and a subscription of 50 euro. You know, when you buy the phones in Kenya, the iPhone is more expensive than your bikes, isn't it?
Yes, they are.
But did you notice that they don't sell you the phone? They sell you the phone and the telecom subscription. Because if they sold you the phone at the iPhone price, nobody will buy the iPhone in Nairobi. Or at least 50% of the people cannot afford it. But if you sell the iPhone and the subscription of $40 a month, people start to get the iPhone and the subscription. It's the same with you. Hopefully it can open up a horizon of thinking. I see Charles. Charles has a question. Please, Charles.
Hi, Mohammed.
Hello.
Thank you. So mine is majorly based on the landscape for the e-mobility sector in Kigali, but to be specific. I know you already know my business, so but maybe I didn't mention that. Just allow me share something on the screen.
You're gonna share your screen?
Yes, please.
Yeah, please.
Yeah, so I know part of what you know about my business, or rather what most people know about my business, is we are in the e-commerce and logistics supply chain, handling last mile delivery. But there's a very unique use case that is basically on demand right now, is specifically using your lockers as a swap station for the EV bikes. And this is something that is really growing attention, especially we've sold around 3 of them in Kenya, and actually within the 2 days that I've already been here, there's a conversation ongoing. So I just needed to know the landscape for the EV sector in Rwanda, and how are they handling charging? Do they use stations where somebody has to station the locker? Of course, that makes the riders immobile, so they won't be able to move. And is it a lucrative kind of angle to look at the use of the lockers?
Yes, so I can give you a bit of experience I had in Kigali with the electric bike. Yeah. So I saw 2 models of battery recharge. There is, I think, Ampersand. Ampersand, I think, is originally a Nigerian company, which is doing quite well. They raised quite a lot of funding.
Ampersand is actually Rwandese. Yeah.
It's a Rwandan company, but I saw that they're also I mean, we met with the owners. It was 2 gentlemen from Nigeria, but that was like a long time ago, maybe 2-3 years ago. But what I saw with Ampersand, and then the other one that I know is Rwanda Electric Motor, REM. So these are the 2 that I saw operating. So REM operates battery stations around Kigali, where because REM has chosen to have 2 batteries on the bike. Instead of 1 battery, they have 2 batteries that can be slotted. So the drivers, they drive. When 1 battery is down, they go to the station, they swap it for another battery, and they pay 1,000 Rwandan franc, like about $1 or less than $1. And then this way they spend a bit less, and they always have a warning to go to the station to swap the other second battery. That's one way. And then these stations are human manned. There's people there who take the record and so on. But Ampersand, I saw they set up like like some electric cars company do, or like petrol stations where it's all self-service. You can go there and like either charge or replace. Yeah. So they invested in like physical automated station recharging stations. So both models are like that. In Europe is also a little bit the same. So what I saw is that at least from the REM side, they make much more money from battery swiping than from selling the bikes. So they're selling the bikes much cheaper, and they're more flexible on how they sell the bikes, because they calculated in their business model, and I think Ampersand is the same. They calculated that after 1 year, they make more money from selling electricity than selling bikes. So here, the service you're selling is actually electricity. That's the commodity you're selling. The bikes is a mechanism of consuming that electricity. So I would say take an electric approach, and what I would see as an open thing for you to do, Charles, and for people in your industry, is how can I combine solar power and ride the wave of green energy. So my stations are solar powered and my electricity is solar powered, and therefore either I can sell it a little bit more expensive, or I can have electricity when the others do not have electricity. Like let's say, sometimes the central grid is not so stable in Rwanda, not so stable in Kenya neither. So maybe when the grid goes down, I still can supply electricity for my riders. And second, I would venture into not making money just from my riders, but going to corporate companies that have CSR, corporate social responsibility policies. They need to show to the government or to their big clients that they do something for the environment. And I go and I make a deal with them, because now I have the solar part. And I say, hey guys, if you use my services instead of my competitor, which doesn't have solar and doesn't do it this way and that way, but working with me, you can check the box of your CSR policy. You can use my company to say that by working with Riedel, I forgot the company name, Charles company name. By working with Charles company name, we're reducing our carbon footprint. We're encouraging solar development. So like diversify who is buying from you and why they're buying from you. That's, I think, again, the thinking process.
Yeah, so actually that brings me to the second question, because we have actually explored the charging as a service option.
Yeah.
But we're still a young company. We haven't raised, so definitely that means we do not have the financial manpower. So the angle we took in Kenya is selling the lockers as a franchise with a flexible paying terms. So you can purchase the hardware or rather lease it, and then we do not charge the customers directly, but rather we give the companies the technology where they get to monitor. So they can monitor of course, this is just a matter of telematics. So something like this is a dashboard that we use to, we monitor the lockers in real time, where they are, who has made payments.
That's very good.
Sorry, it's not loading yet. So I'm just trying to look at the infrastructure. And yes, I did have a conversation with Ampersand, but Ampersand is kind of reluctant in even adopting this in Kenya. And you and I both know the Kenyan market is really, it's more dynamic than Rwanda. So what will be the approach, rather, if at all we were to launch in Kenya? Would you go for the franchise where we sell the technology or do we go to the EV companies, or we go and partner with petrol stations? Because that's part of where the whole business model is.
Yeah, I think all these are very good ideas. Partnering with petrol station franchise model is a fantastic model. I think whatever you can do it. But then what would be interesting is like measure your margins, measure the effort, the capital requirements. But also, do not close your mind. For example, what I see with you guys who have, let's say, $1,000 ticket product. So e-bikes are in that category. Sometimes we sell stuff that are between $700 and $1,000. Those are big tickets, yeah? So big tickets products are hard to sell. But usually, it's like search engine optimization with the web. You have a website, but sometimes you don't promote the website, you promote satellite websites. So likewise with your offer, Charles, like, can you sell merchandising? Can you sell a bit of helmets, a bit of gloves, light heads? What is the small catalog? What is the small catalog of products and services that can go around your bike and attract people from left, right that came for something else, or that for them, this is a differentiation now. So let's say you have this petrol company that has 5 petrol stations around the country. So when you go and you address them, you tell them, guys, you're already selling energy to bikes. There may be hybrid bikes, maybe. There may be bikes that come for you to buy ice cream. My people who drive electric bikes, they come to buy ice cream for you. If you put my inventory of this, of that, they will come to recharge my battery, but they will buy more drinks from you because you know they have those little shops in those, yeah? So that's how people make dealerships with companies in Europe. For example, they create a network of, you can study it, it's called Mondial Relais or UPS Kiala. So it's a logistic company, it's a delivery company. They go to stores around the country and they tell them, hey, why don't you become a pickup point and delivery point? We will pay you peanuts. They really pay them little. They pay them 50 cents of euro per pickup and drop off. But do you know why those shops, they become the franchise? Because it increases the traffic of walk-in customers. Because you become now a point of sale, a point of delivery for that brand. Maybe at the end of the month, you have 300 customers that walk into your store that would not have walked in unless you became part of your network. So now I sell more ice cream, I sell more bread, I sell more drinks, Coca-Cola and stuff, because I'm also part of your network. So you see now the value? It's not only selling your stuff. It's that by selling your stuff, I'm going to get new customers that come in to get your stuff. Thank you very much, guys, for the patience, for taking in the weird way of presenting this knowledge. I hope it makes a bit of sense and you can digest it after we share the documents. But please go ahead and boost. You still have a lot to gain, a lot of market to attack and capture. So you're doing very well. I'm very happy to see what every service and product you guys have come with so far. I really believe that you have done very well, but you still have a lot to do, a lot to gain from. So please go ahead. Looking forward to see you in 1 year making the $1 million numbers and telling me, Mohammed, we're there.